Hi, it's Norleen again with Live from the Theta Archives. It's a special episode of from the Theta Archives. We're going to talk about Betty today, and I encourage you to stay to the end. So I thought I'd recap Betty's life before she entered DePauw. She was born on October 19th, 1850, and her father was a professor and a bishop in the Methodist Church, and so he taught at several small universities and colleges in the Midwest. Education was always important in Betty's family and to Betty herself. Her grandmother had taught a small school for young women in early Indiana. She was going to classes all the time, including in Baker University where her father taught. And when he came back to Greencastle, she was at the age to enter college. So in 1867, her father had come back to teach at Indiana Asbury or DePauw University. At the same time, DePauw had opened its doors to women for the first time. Betty, of course, was interested in attending DePauw, and so was among the first 5 women to be admitted to DePauw University starting in the fall 1867 semester. Betty was an exceptional student in her time at Indiana Asbury DePauw, and this is from her junior year at DePauw in 1869, and she appears on the program. We even have that original essay that she wrote. Betty quickly became involved in student organizations, including the Young Ladies Literary Society, who were organized enough to invite suffragette Elizabeth Cady Stanton to the campus to speak, which she did appear in 1870. She also realized that she wanted an organization to support herself and other female students on the campus. Betty graduated in 1871 and taught for 5 years at an Illinois school for kids with special needs. Betty got married in 1876, and as it was customary at the time, she quit teaching. Married women often were not allowed to teach. But she did become very active in the communities that her and her husband lived in, working with ladies' library associations, the Women's Christian Temperance Union, and other organizations in her community, often serving as an officer. As mentioned, Betty continued to be involved regardless where she lived. When she returned to live in Greencastle in the 1890s, she became active in her community, reconnected, we think, with Theta, and served as an alumni representative to the 1893 Grand Convention. The most interesting finds as we've studied Betty's life is a letter to the editor that she wrote to the Indianapolis Star in 1923. In the first paragraph of this letter, Betty is responding to an article in the newspaper about DePauw University. But at the end, she talks about the fact what it meant for those 4 women to attend or graduate, about the hardships of them opened the way for the entrance of hundreds of girls in this university, as well as many others in this country and in Europe. As you see, Betty has always been a leader, both as in founding Kappa Alpha Theta, but also within her community and her organizations that she felt strongly about. For the last several years, as a lead up to our 150th in 2020, we have been celebrating each one of our founders, beginning with Betty Tipton as Year of Service, going on to Alice Allen with Year of Scholarship, and last year with Hannah Fitch and Year of Sister. So for 2019, we are honoring Betty Locke with the Year of Leadership. We're launching this Year of Leadership to honor Betty, but also to honor you as Thetas and leaders. And we have a fun activity to help recognize this Year of Leadership. So we will have Betty buttons. And you may already have one, or we'll be sending them out through the year. But we are encouraging you to wear one to identify both Betty as a leader as well as yourselves. So I have my Betty Buttons, see my B of Betty Buttons. We'll be highlighting collegians, alumni, and leaders in various communities. I look forward to seeing where you will take the Betty Button in 2019.